Going live. I'm not live yet, apparently, but now I am live. So, hello if you're watching live, hello if you're watching playback, and welcome to my 41st I have a lot to say live stream on this channel. Already off to a good start there. But yes, welcome to my 40. Can't even get it right. Welcome to my 41st I have a lot to say live stream on this channel. So essentially, if you don't know what these live streams are, basically once or twice, maybe even 3 times a week, although it definitely won't be 3 times this week, but basically once or twice a week, I do these live streams where I talk about current movie and TV news going on in the movie and TV world right now. And at the same time though, I'll also be answering any live questions sent in on this live stream. So if you are watching this live and YouTube is just not telling me, YouTube is lying to me. So if you are watching this live, please do send in a live question. And also, if you're watching the playback, please do put a question or a topic in the comment section below, and I'll probably talk about it in my next live stream. And at the same time though, I should say a couple of things before I get into my topics for today. First of all, I should say that I live next to a main road, so if you hear like a truck, a tractor, a bike, or just a loud car going past any point during this live stream, I do apologise, because it's kind of out of my control. And also, even though I live in the countryside, sometimes it does feel like I live next to a building site. Honestly, there's always work going on the houses next to me. So at any point you hear some drilling going on during this live stream, again, I do apologise, out of my control. And also, it hasn't happened in the past couple of live streams, but it has happened in the past. So in case this stream cuts out, I do apologise. That's also out of my control. That's kind of down to OBS. It has happened a couple times in the past, not recently, but just in the past. So if it does happen, I do apologise. If for some reason my streams are cut in and out, I'm talking at one point and it cuts out, then I'm in another pose or something like that, I do apologise. That's kind of out of my control once again. But apart from that, everything should go pretty well in this live stream. But yes, welcome to my 41st live stream. In this live stream today, I'm talking about quite a few things. I'm talking about the Book of Boba Fett trailer, which was released yesterday, which I'm very excited for. I'm also talking about the new Morbius trailer, and I'm also talking about the new Christopher Nolan film, which is getting a bigger cast by the minute. And so that is my first topic for today. So I'm not talking about the Book of Boba Fett yet, even though I got it up there. No, I'm talking about the new Christopher Nolan film, Oppenheimer, which keeps growing its cast. Now, I'm not going to talk a lot about this, but the reason I want to talk about it in this live stream is because of who's joining the cast. Now, if you jump onto Variety here, it says here that Robert Downey Jr. and Matt Damon to star in Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer movie, which is Christopher Nolan's next movie. And if we go down here, Robert Downey Jr. and Matt Damon will star in Christopher Nolan's upcoming World War II epic Oppenheimer, a drama about the development of the atomic bomb. It is not clear who Downey is playing and stuff like that, but yes, the point I'm trying to make here is that Matt Damon and Robert Downey Jr. are joining Christopher Nolan's next film. Now, the reason I want to talk about this isn't because it's those two. If anyone was joining any sort of film, I wouldn't usually care that much. But the reason I want to talk about it, actually, is it's because Matt Damon and Robert Downey Jr., they publicly spoke about Christopher Nolan films in the past. In fact, I don't know how true this is, but there was all these reports at one point that Matt Damon was approached to play, Harvey Dent, Two-Face in The Dark Knight. Imagine that, by the way. Imagine Matt Damon in The Dark Knight. But yes, apparently he was approached to play Two-Face in The Dark Knight, but he refused to, because apparently he wasn't approached by Christopher Nolan, he was approached by some of Christopher Nolan's team, and so basically it was all complicated, and he just said no to it. But then, ever since, he's been saying, I would easily act in a Christopher Nolan film if I had the chance, and well, here's his chance. Matt Damon is now in a Christopher Nolan film, and also there's a nice little reunion there between him and Emily Blunt, who both were in The Adjustment Bureau together, something like that, The Adjustment Bureau, so I can't remember the name of the film that well, but yes, because also, by the way, I should say that, Matt Damon and Robert Downey Jr. will also be joining Cillian Murphy, a long-time collaborator of Christopher Nolan, and Emily Blunt in this new movie as well. So like I said, the cast is getting huge, but yes, nice little reunion between Matt Damon and Emily Blunt there, but also, it's nice to see that Matt Damon's getting his second chance with Christopher Nolan after accepting the role this time. But it does make you think sometimes, like, what would he be like as Two-Face in The Dark Knight? I do wonder that sometimes. But anyway, let's talk about Robert Downey Jr. Like, Robert Downey Jr. in the past has publicly spoken about the fact that he didn't like The Dark Knight, which is kind of funny in my opinion, because like The Dark Knight came out, I think around the same time as Iron Man, the first Iron Man. I might be wrong there. Apologies if I am. But I'm pretty sure it came out around the first time as around the time that the first Iron Man came out. And Robert Downey Jr. spoke about how he didn't like The Dark Knight, about how he loves The Prestige, which is my favourite Christopher Nolan film today. Honestly, I think The Prestige, by the way, is absolutely fantastic. Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman facing off together in this magic film. This film all about magic and stuff, and it's really clever in my opinion. But yes, that's my favourite Christopher Nolan film today. And it's also, I think, Robert Downey Jr.'s favourite Christopher Nolan film because he doesn't like The Dark Knight. And I just find it funny that he's criticised Christopher Nolan films in the past, and now he's going to be in one. That's just kind of ironic in my opinion. And also, I do kind of feel that he said he didn't like The Dark Knight just simply because he was Iron Man. You know, like I said before, Iron Man and The Dark Knight, I'm pretty sure came out in the same year. I don't know how close they came out to each other. I'm pretty sure The Dark Knight came out in 2008, and I know Iron Man. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they came out in the same year, so I do kind of feel, and this is just pure speculation, because obviously I don't know what goes on in Robert Downey Jr.'s head, but I do kind of feel that maybe Robert Downey Jr. was just simply criticising The Dark Knight because it was a better movie than Iron Man. And I liked the first Iron Man film quite a lot. I'm not a fan of the MCU in general, but I liked the first Iron Man film quite a lot, actually. The thing is, though, I do kind of feel that, you know, he was criticising The Dark Knight because he was kind of like contractually obligated to, because, well, it's another superhero movie that wasn't from the Marvel Universe at the time. But yes, it's just, I mean, I don't know. That's pure speculation. Maybe Robert Downey Jr. just didn't like Dark Knight. Maybe it wasn't for him, and, you know, all films subjective, and fair enough, and everything like that. But still, it does kind of get you wondering, you know, Robert Downey Jr. was Iron Man at the point the Dark Knight came out. I'm pretty sure he was. And, well, he was definitely signed up to Marvel, and he played Iron Man by that point. Whether the movie come out before or after The Dark Knight, I don't know. But yes, you know, he'd been Iron Man / played Iron Man / you know, acted as Iron Man by the time the Dark Knight movie came out, and you do kind of get the idea that maybe you criticise the Dark Knight just because he was Iron Man. But anyway, nevertheless, it's kind of interesting that Matt Damon and Robert Downey Jr., who have both publicly spoken about Christopher Nolan in the past, and now working with him. And I think that's quite interesting. Also, it builds on this fantastic cast for Christopher Nolan's next movie. I mean, Christopher Nolan just, he ensembles fantastic casts for all of his movies. Even the ones that I'm not the biggest fan of, like Interstellar. That's got a huge cast, and it is quite impressive, the cast of that film. Not a huge fan of the film, but it's got quite an impressive cast for it. Obviously, Tenet had quite an impressive cast. Tenet had quite, I can't even speak. Tenet had quite an impressive cast, and obviously the Dark Knight trilogy did, and so on and so on and so on. So he always gets big, impressive cast. At the moment, we already have Cillian Murphy on there, who's collaborated with we have Cillian Murphy there, who's collaborated with Christopher Nolan quite a few times in the past. And there's a nice little, you know, Quiet Place Part 2 reunion between him and Emily Blunt, who's also going to be in this film. And at the same time, though, now we also have Matt Damon and Robert Downey Jr. in this film as well. So that's not a bad main four stars to have for your movie. You know, Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, and Robert Downey Jr. And honestly, that's a combo I never thought I'd have, but actually, I'm excited to see how that combo is used in a Christopher Nolan film. Nevertheless, honestly, I'm not as big as Christopher Nolan as I know some other people around me are, and some other cinephiles who absolutely adore him. But nevertheless, if a good Christopher Nolan film comes along, I do really enjoy it. Like The Prestige, like the Dark Knight trilogy, and like what's the one he did, Dunkirk as well. I absolutely love Dunkirk. So yes, if a good Christopher Nolan film comes around, I do really like it. But sometimes I'm just not always the biggest on him, like I wasn't the biggest on Tenet. But nevertheless, I'll go and check out this movie. It sounds great. You know, World War II epic directed by Christopher Nolan. He's got creative control over this film with the whole Deal universe, which I talked about in one of my previous live streams. And I've been looking forward to this quite a lot, especially with the cast that's now been announced. And so that is the end of topic number 1 on this live stream for today. So without further ado, let's talk about Morbius. Let's talk about topic number 2, which is all about Morbius. And if you give me a second, just checking something right now. Yeah, if you give me a second, I'm going to go onto online and get the Morbius trailer up. So Morbius, let's talk about Morbius. I want to go just turn this volume off so I don't get any copyright strikes in terms of a song that's maybe used in the trailer. But yes, so here is a Morbius trailer, and honestly, I've got to admit, this film, I'm not that excited for it. And I don't think the trailer's bad, by the way. I think it's actually a well-shot trailer. It looks like it's going to be a well-shot movie. And, you know, Jared Leto, who normally annoys me in everything he's in, doesn't look too awful in this film. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not excited to see Jared Leto's performance as Morbius, but it just doesn't look awful in this film. And, I don't know, just the parts of it look good as well. It's also got some links to, obviously, other Spider-Verse stuff in there. Then we see Jared Leto becoming Morbius. Just come down here a bit more. Where's the shot of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man? Well, he's not actually in it, but you get him on the graffiti on the wall this January. I couldn't care less. There's Jared Harris in the film, which is going to be interesting. They have the Daily Bugle, big Spider-Man thing. You know, it looked like it was shot well. You got what's his Tyrese? Oh, there's Matt Smith. Look, there it is. Oh, just didn't pause it in time. There's Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man pose done on the graffiti on the wall. I don't know why it says murder either. and also they include that in both Morbius trailers. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. There's also links to like the Amazing Spider-Man films in there. Like you see the Oscorp Tower at one stage. You can get it up somewhere. I don't know where it is. You also get Michael Keaton's Vulture reappearing. I don't actually know what this Oscorp bit is. This is brilliant, isn't it? A riveting live stream right now. Is it one of the city landscape parts? You see the city at one point, and it's got the Oscorp logo on there, which you see from the Amazing Spider. Is it there? No, it wasn't there. Alright, I don't actually know what the Oscorp thing is, but do look it up if you don't believe me. Oh god, this is rubbish, isn't it? Right, now I'm just going to look it up myself. One sec. Give me a second. There's gone there. So here we are in comicbook.com. Sorry about this. Didn't plan this bit that well. But yes, look, right, halfway the trailer you get the Oscorp tower there. And the Oscorp logo, it should be noted, is very similar to the Oscorp logo from the Amazing Spider-Man films. So there's a nice little link there. And also I'm pretty sure at one point on the Daily Bugle it says something like Rhino's roaming loose. And Rhino was obviously in the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Quite a bad version, but nevertheless he was in that movie. And also we get Michael Keaton's Vulture pop up. Like actually, if we go to here, I do know that Michael Keaton's Vulture is in the trailer at some point. God, I planned this brilliantly, didn't I? It's just me scrolling through a trailer. Okay, one sec. Just gonna find where the hell does Michael Keaton pop up in this trailer? Because he's definitely in it. Oh, it's just annoying. I can't find where he is right now. Okay. Well, the point is what I'm trying to get at is this film got loads of links to other Spider-Verse stuff. And we're going to see it soon. I don't know where it comes up. There's a Daily Bugle again. I don't know where it comes up. Right, one second. I'm going to look that up again as well. I don't want to... My computer's being slow as well. Sorry, this is brilliant moment, isn't it? I'm just looking up things on Google from the Morbius trailer. Michael Keaton. I think it's pretty obvious he's going to appear as Vulture, by the way, given to what this title says, because he's in the trailer. But where is it? It's taken forever to actually come up. It's loading. It's loading, people. Sorry about this. I haven't planned this segment of the live stream that well. But nevertheless, right, I'm just going to look him up on Google. This is rubbish live streaming. Oh, that's brilliant, isn't it? Sorry. God, this is awful. Right, yeah, there he is in the trailer. Don't believe me, watch the trailer as well. You know, Michael, there even says there, Michael Keaton is in Morbius. But the thing that's confusing me is this trailer has all these different links to all these different Spider-Verse at the moment, to which ones are actually existing. So you got the link to Tom Maguire's Spider-Man, because you have Tom Maguire's Spider-Man doing his pose on the wall, which you see in all the Tom Maguire Spider-Man posters. You have the link to Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, you see the Oscorp Tower, and you get the link to Rhino, which is the Amazing Spider-Man 2, and then you also get the link to, you know, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, with Michael Keaton's Vulture being in there, and then you also get a link to the Venom universe, where at the end of the trailer, you know, Morbius plays a little joke and guy says, I'm Venom, and things like that, and you also get something where one character say at one point, oh, what about the incident in San Francisco, which is obviously referring to Venom 2, aka Venom Let There Be Carnage. So there's links to all these different Spider-Verse in the movie, but it makes me ask the question, you know, what universe does this movie exist in? And it's a bit like, why are they doing it like that? Why are they having, you know, Morbius being confusing? Because in the end, multiverse is not a bad idea. You know, I'm really looking forward to Spider-Man at Home, which is going to be a multiverse movie. And the thing is, though, I think they could do it really fun in Spider-Man at Home, and I also think they could do it really fun in Doctor Strange 2 if they do it well. You know, we have Sam Raimi directing that film. I also think they could do it fun in the Flash movie, which is going to be DC related. It's going to have all the multiple Batman in there. I think the whole aspect of multiverse could be doing great, but I don't want them to overdo it, and I don't understand what universe Morbius exists in, and I should do. I should understand just like that. I shouldn't have to look for clues as to what universe Morbius exists in? Is it the same universe as Tom Holland's Spider-Man? Because we see Michael Keaton's Vulture in there, but then we see the Oscorp Tower with the same logo from the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Is it the same universe as Tom Maguire's Spider-Man though? Because we see the Tom Maguire's Spider-Man doing the pose on the wall that's graffiti on there. I know it's the same universe as Venom, because remember, Venom's kind of different universe, because now, not to give too much away, but, well, the spoiler, the post-credit scene for Venom 2 sets up Venom now in the MCU, so what the hell is going on here? Is this universe in the same one as Venom? Is it the same one as, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, Tom Maguire's Spider-Man? We don't know. We don't know, and we should know easily from the trailer, but in the end, it's just confusing. I watched the trailer and went, okay, what universe does this exist in? What universe does this movie exist in? And I shouldn't have to ask that question. Honestly, when I watched the trailer for when I watched the trailer for The Eternals, I knew, okay, that's an MCU movie. When I watched the trailer for Black Widow, MCU. When I watched the trailer for The Flash, okay, DCU. When I watched the trailer for the Suicide Squad, DCU. On so on and so on and so on. You get the point I'm trying to get at. I know instantly where those films take place. And that's a small thing, but it's also quite a big thing. If you don't know where these films take place, it's going to be confusing to the average moviegoer. Like, oh my god, all these comic book nerds going online. Like, oh my god, all these Spider-Man references in the new Morbius trailer. That's fantastic. What universe does Morbius take place in? I don't care. Spider-Man references. But then what you got to remember in the end, it's somebody like me who hasn't read the comic books, who isn't a big comic book movie fan. I'm watching the trailer thinking, okay, where does this movie take place? And for the average moviegoer, go watch the comic book movie at the cinema, they're going to be asking, where the hell does this movie take place? And they don't need to ask that question. They shouldn't need to ask that question. But for some reason, Morbius has made it confused. People at Sony have confused us, okay? And saying now, and Venom has kind of ended up in the MCU. Spoiler alert there if you haven't seen Venom 2, but you've had time to see it. So, okay, yeah, Venom's now ended up in the MCU. And so what's going on there? Is this in the same universe as Venom and Tom Holland's Spider-Man or not? And I suppose we might have to wait to Spider-Man No Way Home to find out that answer. But is this in the same universe as Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man or Tom Maguire's Spider-Man? I don't understand what's going on. And then Michael Keaton shows up as Vulture again, who we last saw in Spider-Man Homecoming. So it's like, what? I don't understand what universe this film takes place. That shouldn't be a question I'm asking at the end of this trailer, because the trailer isn't awful. I mean, it isn't a fantastic trailer, but it isn't awful. There could be worse trailers out there, and I didn't mind the trailer because it got that song in the background, People Are Strange, it's a good song in my opinion. But yeah, you have that playing in the background, which is a good song, and it's not a bad trailer. It looks like it's a well-shot film. You've got Jared High showing up there, Matt Smith, a little glimpse, by the way. And Matt Smith, I think, is going to have a bigger role in these Spider-Verse movies as a whole, like Venom. Obviously, we've got this now, which is, a Spider-Man spin-off, kind of. And then you obviously have Kraven the Hunter movie, which is going to happen next year. So I think Matt Smith's going to be popping up on all these movies, by the way, because I think he's going to have a bigger role in all the Spider-Verse movies, because he's Matt Smith to start off with. It's Matt Smith. He's quite a big actor, with The Crown, Doctor Who, and, most recently, Last Night in Soho, and also we're now going to be in Morbius. And he isn't in the trailer much, and Matt Smith's quite a big actor, so I do think, and I might be wrong here, it's just pure speculation, but I do think that he's going to appear in more Spider-Verse movies down the line, maybe Venom 3, maybe Kraven the Hunter movie, maybe a Morbius 2 if they have one in development. I do think he'll have a bigger role in there, and maybe he'll even become a villain himself, because we don't actually see much of him in the trailer. It's only in one shot of the trailer, and it was the exact same shot we saw of him in the first Morbius trailer, and it's a bit like, if you're covering up Matt Smith in this film, why? And it's just pure speculation there, but I wouldn't be surprised if he had a bigger role in, future Spider-Verse movies, like, I don't know, Venom 3, Kraven the Hunter, and Morbius 2, further down the line, or even another Spider-Man movie after No Way Home, because, I've seen some people online recently go, oh my god, Tom Holland said, Spider-Man No Way Home might be his last Spider-Man movie. No, it won't be. No, it won't be. I can guarantee you now, Tom Holland released... I mean, obviously, I haven't heard anything. I haven't really read any leaks. But I can guarantee you now that Tom Holland will not give up playing Spider-Man after No Way Home. I mean, the movies might be a bit different after No Way Home. Maybe he goes into the Sony universe where, Venom and Morbius takes place. But I can guarantee you now that I bet... Marvel and Sony have plans for Tom Holland Spider-Man going into the near-distant future. Because, bear in mind, I think the past two Venom movies, Venom 1, which came out in 2018, and I think Venom Let There Be Carnage, and I think, maybe to a degree, even No Way Home, will be setting up the fight between Venom and Spider-Man, which I bet will be Venom 3. I bet you Venom 3 will be Tom Holland Spider-Man v Tom Hardy's Venom. And pardon me there. But, I mean, I don't know. But that's what I'm guessing, because if you look at all the stuff they're doing with Venom at the moment in the Sony universe, in the Sony Spider-Man universe, it looks like that's what they're setting up. I don't know, but I'll be surprised if it goes the other way. I'll be surprised if they don't bring Tom Holland's Spider-Man against Tom Hardy's Venom at some point. And also, I wouldn't be surprised if, Jared Leto's Morbius and Tom Holland's Spider-Man faced off against each other at one point as well. But the thing is, though, why? I'm not being a fan of any of the Sony Spider-Verse movies so far. I'm not a fan of any of the Venom movies or the Tom Hardy Venom movies. And I like Tom Hardy quite a lot as an actor, but I think his Venom movies have been, to be honest, shite. And that's a shame because Andy Serkis directed the second one, and Andy Serkis is a fine filmmaker, but the second one, oh god, it was a rough experience in the cinema. I hated watching it. And, Morbius doesn't look particularly brilliant in my opinion. Okay, it looks like it's a well-shot film, but what makes it distinctive and different from all the other, DC and Marvel movies we've seen before? Because if you're watching the trailer, and it's actually on the poster there that I got up, well, just not my microphone a bit, but yeah, on the poster I got up there, we see Bat at one stage coming out of this cave where basically the Morbius creature gets created. Okay, Bat's coming out of a cave. Where have we seen that before? Batman. It's like, why are we doing this? Why? It's too similar for someone like me who doesn't know the Morbius character outside of this movie. I don't know who the Morbius character is, and honestly, it's like Richard Madden in Eternals. I'm just getting vibes that Marvel's starting to copy DC a bit, and not in a good way. I mean, I know this isn't MCU, but still, Richard Madden in Eternals, he shoots lasers out of his eyes and he flies. The only difference between him and Superman is Richard Madden's character doesn't have a cape in the Eternals. Okay, Morbius, what's the big difference between him and Batman? He doesn't wear a cape either. I don't know. You haven't got that from the trailer, and by the way, slightly ironic there because obviously, Jared Leto played Joker in the first Suicide Squad movie and in Zack Snyder's Justice League, where basically faced off against Batman, so it's a slight bit of irony there. But nevertheless, what's the difference between Morbius and Batman? I haven't got that from the trailer as someone who just, casually watches these comic book movies from time to time. But yes, I just don't know. What made this trailer so fantastic? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll go and see it because it's a new super movie and everyone will be talking about when it comes out. And also, Matt Smith's in there. I'm a huge fan of Matt Smith. Jared Harris in there. We liked him in, what was that TV show? Watch him in. Freeze on the name of the TV show. Oh, it's when the boat gets stuck in the ice. But yeah, Jared Harris is a fantastic actor. He played the King in The Crown as well. Great actor. I'm looking forward to seeing him in there. But still, I don't know. After Venom Let There Be Carnage, I'm not that excited to see where Sony's Spider-Verse is going. I mean, I quite enjoyed Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is obviously a Sony Spider-Man movie, but still, I'm not, that's not really existing in the same universe as Venom, and I just don't think that the Sony Spider-Verse has been off to a good start. And also, what they're trying to do, Sinister Six, because we're going to get, again, I'm assuming here, pure speculation, but I'm assuming we're going to get a multiverse Sinister Six in Spider-Man No Way Home coming out this Christmas, because, we're having the return of Alpha Million Dr. Octopus, and Fox Electro, one before Green Goblin, with fans the Lizard, and Thomas A. Judge's Sandman. So I'm assuming there's probably going to be a sixth villain as well, and I'm assuming we'll probably get a multiverse Sinister Six in No Way Home. We might not, pure speculation there, but it's looking more and more likely. And it'd just be a bit weird if they set up another Sinister Six further down the line. It'd be like, okay, why are you doing that? I'm not entirely sure. And I don't think it's going to have the same effect that Sony wanted to. And one other thing is, I can't see these movies like Venom Let There Be Carnage, and Morbius, and probably Kraven the Hunter as well, being remembered in 20 years' time. I can't see these movies being instant classics. Honestly, Morbius might come out, it might be the best movie of 2022. It might be, I don't know. For all I know, we've seen the trailer at the moment, I didn't think the trailer was that good, but it might come out in 2022 and it might blow me away and be my new favourite movie of 2022. And maybe when Kraven the Hunter movie comes out in 2023, maybe that'll become my new favourite movie of 2023. But, I'll see it and believe it, because I just can't see movies in 20 years' time going, what, brilliant? Venom Let There Be Carnage, Kraven the Hunter, and Morbius. I just can't see these movies being remembered in 20 years' time as classics. Now, I can see some of the MCU movies, even though I don't like them as much, being remembered in 20 years' time going, oh my god, remember how great, Iron Man 1 was, or Guardians of the Galaxy. I can see that happening in 20 years' time, but I can't see that happening with Morbius and Venom Let There Be Carnage. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it does, but still. It's rubbish in my opinion, the trailer. But the trailer isn't rubbish, actually, I take that back. It's not as good as I want it to be. I have really no excitement whatsoever going into Morbius at the moment. It's coming out in January, and, that isn't long away, and I'm really not excited for it. And also, the trailer didn't do anything for me. This late in the stage of marketing, well, because it isn't long away, a second trailer should be doing a lot more for me, and it didn't. It just did it in the end. And maybe that's because I'm not a fan of Jared Leto either, because it's Jared Leto, and I haven't liked his performance in, Suicide Squad and stuff like that. I mean, I didn't mind his acting in Justice League for this moment he was in there, but I haven't even liked his performance as a Joker. And I've seen him in some interviews as well, and he seems very egotistical and very, method acting is the only way. And it's really though? There's reports of him, sending off dead rats to some of his Suicide Squad co-stars back when he was shooting the Suicide Squad. It's why? Why do that? I get it, you're playing the Joker, but, he can be off, when Heath Ledger was playing the Joker, that you might have driven him to commit suicide, but still, in the end, he was off-screen, apparently quite a nice person from reports to The Dark Knight, and apparently Jared Leto wasn't when he was doing the Suicide Squad movie, the first Suicide Squad of that, and you just kind of sit there and go, I'm sorry, what? Anyway, Jared Leto, I'm not a fan of him as an actor. He's not bad in things. I mean, he looks good in the House of Gucci movie coming out later this month, but still, why is he playing Morbius? He already played the Joker. Why is he playing Morbius? I don't know. I'm just not that excited for this movie, and I wish I was. But nevertheless, hopefully it's great, and hopefully when it comes out in January, it really surprises me. But I don't think it will, because it's another Sony Spider-Verse movie, and they haven't really been surprising me yet. And so that is the end of topic number 2 on this live stream for today. I talked about a lot more than I thought it's going to do, but that is the end of topic number 2 on this live stream. So just before I move into topic number 3, can I have a quick drink of water, should I say? Quick drink of water. But anyway, I've got my Jurassic World water bottle, by the way. But anyway, yeah, so without further ado, let's move into topic number 3. It's a topic I'm much more happy to talk about, and that is the book of Boba Fett, which is coming out next month on December the 29th. So we jump onto Google here, and we have a look at the trailer. Look, I'm already loving it just from the opening shot. Oh, don't want the sound going on there. I'm already loving it from the opening shot. I mean, I got the spider from Return of the Jedi from Jabba's palace that you see. I love that they got that in there. Boba Fett's helmet, I think. This whole trailer is fantastic in my opinion. You got the whole of Tatooine again there. That looks great. A similar aesthetic to The Mandalorian. And also, the show was shot during COVID, and the show was shot during COVID. It doesn't look like it was, by the way. I love the whole costume design there. I love the Gamorrean guards in the background there at one point. I love the aesthetic of the cinematography. It looks great again. You have Jon Favreau coming in to direct, Bryce Dallas Howard coming in to direct again. You also have Robert Rodriguez coming in to direct, and I think Dave Filoni's in a bit of directing again as well. A bit of Slave One there. It looks like a scene out of Sopranos here, but in Star Wars. It looks great in my opinion. Bit of action here, which obviously looks like Robert Rodriguez's direction. Looks similar to that episode, was it episode 6 of Mandalorian season 2, when you saw Boba Fett get his armor back and literally go crazy killing all those stormtroopers. And then this line at the end of the trailer, it's something like, please speak freely. And you just get the idea, okay, don't speak freely. He looks like he could be quite bad. It looks like it's going to be Star Wars, but with the Sopranos. And that really excites me. I love shots like that in Star Wars, because it just makes you feel like Star Wars, and in the best way possible. I love that sort of costume design in Star Wars as well. That looks brilliant. And just look at that. It's fantastic. For a second there I thought it wasn't actually based on the last one. But yeah, just shots like this was fantastic in the trailer. It looks great. It looks so much fun. And I'm really looking forward to it. Like my New Year present or my late Christmas present, whatever, when it comes out next month. I'm just really looking forward to it because it's Star Wars. We haven't had any Star Wars content since the end of Mandalorian Season 2, which was, Christmas last year. Because it's Star Wars, I think my stream's cut out a bit here. Apologies, going to check everything's going fine. Oh, my computer's decided to give up on me. I'm not actually sure what's going on my computer right now. The streams have been great today. But yes, I just had an error in the streaming apparently. Yes, the stream's cutting it out there. Apologies, I didn't realise it has. But yes, I love the whole aesthetic of the show. It looks like it's fantastically shot, and I'm really looking forward to it because we haven't had any Star Wars content for a long time, and I'm really excited to see how the show's going to turn out. It looks like Sopranos, but in Star Wars. And that's what I'm excited for, I can actually imagine Boba Fett being like Tony Soprano in this show, and not in a bad way. And I'm just... gangsters in Star Wars. It looks great. Honestly, I love the fact that Star Wars at the moment you have Mandalorian, which completely fired your expectations and turned into like a story of fatherhood. I love the fact that they did that in Mandalorian, and then I love the fact that here it's been like gangsters in space, and I bet like Obi-Wan be quite this brotherly bond, so I'll be quite emotional, and I bet Cassian Andor series is gonna be like quite gritty and dark and show the dark side of the rebellion. And then I love the fact that Mandalorian again, the streaming, it's not me, it's the streaming. I don't know what's going on right now. Right, I reconnected onto OBS. Right, sorry about that. I think my OBS has been cutting in and out, and I did give a small warning at the start of this live stream that I might do that, and as we might have guessed, it did. So apologies about that. The OBS has been cutting out, but yes, basically, if you haven't get what I'm saying, I'm looking forward to Boba Fett quite a lot. Honestly, Boba Fett looks like Tony Soprano in space. It looks great. It looks like The Sopranos in Star Wars. Gangsters in Star Wars. It's fantastic. It looks different than it looks different than Mandalorian, because Mandalorian defied our expectations into a fatherhood story in the end, between Mandalorian and Baby Yoda. And also, I reckon the show's gonna be different than Obi-Wan, because I bet Obi-Wan will be quite emotional, seeing Obi-Wan fight off Darth Vader again. Hayden Christensen's Anakin's gonna be in there, and I bet it's gonna be different than the Cassian Andor show, which is coming out next year, which is gonna show like the dark side of the rebellion. And I bet this show will be completely different than Mandalorian Season 3, which is going to come out, I bet, next Christmas. That's not being confirmed, but I bet it will. And I bet, it's going to be absolutely fantastic for the show. Because I can't wait for more Star Wars content. I wish this show was coming out before Christmas. I wish it was coming out at the end of this month instead of flipping Hawkeye. When does Hawkeye even come out, by the way? I'm not even sure. But yes, I wish the show was coming out sooner rather than later. I wish the show was coming out of Hawkeye at the end of this month, because I'm not looking forward to Hawkeye really that much at all. But I'm looking forward to the Book of Boba Fett quite a lot. Honestly, with the post-credit scene at the end of Mandalorian Season 2, I got really excited to see a Boba Fett's origin story. Well, not a Boba Fett origin story, but I saw it just focusing on Boba Fett, just his own solo story. And I just think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. And also, I wouldn't be surprised, by the way, if this show opens with, like, the explanation of how Boba Fett survived Return of the Jedi. Because bear in mind, the show is going to be set after Return of the Jedi, like Mandalorian, because obviously it's a bit of a spin-off of Mandalorian. Pardon me there, but yeah, it's going to be a spin-off of Mandalorian, because obviously because Boba Fett, came back in Mandalorian Season 2. But yes, I wouldn't be surprised if the show starts off with explaining how Boba Fett survived Return of the Jedi. It doesn't need to do that, by the way, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's how it opened, and then we jump to, 5-10 years later, and Boba Fett is now in Jabba's palace. And because that would make sense, wouldn't it? You see how Boba Fett survived Jabba from Return of the Jedi, then you jump now, and he is essentially Jabba. He is the gangster, and that sounds really exciting in my opinion. Honestly, it looks like it'll be so much fun. You got some great directors coming on there. Robert Rodriguez, who directed that fantastic episode Season 2 of Mandalorian, where he basically saw Boba Fett get his armor back and just wipe out all these stormtroopers. It was great. You also have Jon Favreau coming in there. He's a fantastic director who directed the first episode of Mandalorian Season 2 with the worms and everything, and I thought that was great. Jon Favreau is a fantastic director. And I also have Bryce Dallas Howard coming in there, who's also directed previous episodes of Mandalorian as well. And I bet she's going to do a great job. And I'm really looking forward to it. Honestly, I'll probably be doing some, I think I've already said this probably, but I'll probably be doing some live spoiler discussions of each episode of the Book of Boba Fett when it comes out as well. So probably like the day after Book of Boba Fett comes out, or maybe the 2 days after, it'll be like a bit of spoiler discussion about the episode that we just saw. So look forward to that when the Book of Boba Fett's coming out. Look forward to it. It's gonna be some epic spoiler discussions, so to say. Man, that sounded cheesy. But yes, I'm gonna do some spoiler discussions when the Book of Boba Fett's airing. But for now, all I'm going to do is wait. I'm going to be talking more about my anticipation for the show later on this channel in the upcoming weeks. But for now, I'm really looking forward to it, and the trailer's absolutely fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing an official trailer more, just to get an idea of what the show's really about. Okay, we get the Boba Fett's like gangster in Tatooine now, but I want to see a bit more from that. But anyway, nevertheless, I'm looking forward to the next trailer. I'm looking forward to the show as a whole, and I bet it's going to be absolutely fantastic. And also, one last thing I want to say about this show is I bet the Mandalorian's going to have a cameo in there. Because bear in mind, this is all taking place at the same time. Boba Fett came back in Mandalorian Season 2, essentially. I mean, we kind of briefly saw him in Mandalorian Season 1, but he properly came back in Mandalorian Season 2, and I reckon, I wouldn't be surprised if Mandalorian had some sort of a cameo in this show, which potentially leads into Mandalorian Season 3. Pure speculation, but it would make sense if you think about it. And also, I reckon this show's going to have a few familiar faces in there. Like, I won't be surprised if... I mean, I don't know. I would just reckon this show's going to have a few familiar faces in there. And that's going to be really exciting to see. I won't be surprised if, Timothy Olyphant's character from Mandalorian Season 2, from Mandalorian Season 2 Episode 1 comes back. I won't be surprised if we see some other characters from the previous seasons of Mandalorian come in there. I wouldn't be surprised if we had some very familiar faces in this show as well, because that's what Star Wars seems to be at the moment. And you know what? I'm fine with that. I'm fine with Star Wars being a nostalgic hit, if you will, because we have Obi-Wan coming, which is going to bring back Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, and I bet loads of other familiar faces, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Book of Boba Fett does a similar thing as well. And we've already heard from the Cassian Andor actor, Diego Luna, that the Cassian Andor show is going to bring in some familiar faces, so I won't be surprised if the Book of Boba Fett does that. And for one, I am really looking forward to the show. December 29th can't come soon enough, but I will be talking more about my anticipation for the show before it comes out. But for now, I'm proper excited for it, and I thought the teaser trailer was absolutely fantastic. And so that is the end on my third and final main topic on this live stream for today. So thank you for watching, and apologies about the cutting in and out of the live stream at one point because of OBS. I don't really know what on there, but it lost its stream health, so apologies about that when I cut in and out when I was talking about the Book of Boba Fett. But nevertheless, I got for the live stream just about, and thank you as always for watching. And if you haven't yet, please do click down below and subscribe on this live stream. I look forward to many more both film and TV views and live streams coming very soon on this channel. See you guys again soon. Bye bye for now. Bye.